those early days, I'll never, the first time I met the Avenged Jews, before you had joined the band, we played this place called the IROC in Detroit, which is basically like a pool hall that has like rock shows, and it's super sketchy, whatever. And we were out with From Autumn to Ashes and God Forbid, and the Avenged Dudes roll in, and like, it was that was the peak era of like fashion core Orange County kind of stuff, and they come in like, already taking over the bathroom and just, straight ironing everything, flat irons, and then the eye makeup's going on, and I'm just like, all right, what's going on here? Like, what do we got going on here?
Yeah. From Massachusetts, you hadn't seen anything like that.
And us and God Forbid come out of our vans just like fucking Neanderthals, like, like who haven't showered in weeks, and just, and but man, they opened. Oh, was it with Unholy Confessions? As soon as they started playing, I was like, wait a minute.
It wasn't Unholy yet, because it must have been To End the Rapture. That was all sounding stuff.
Yeah. So and out of the gates, I'm like, what is this like amped up Iron Maiden fucking insane shredding guitar, like just all over the place, and then the vocals, where he was going back from the brutal screams to the high vocals, and I was blown away. And
I know what song it has to be. I know what song it has to be. It has to be a Second Heartbeat. That's what it was.
That was probably what it was. So I was immediately blown away, and I'm like, holy shit, this is not what I expected. This is amazing. And it was also to see, like it's always when you see bands that have a level of musicianship in the scene at that time, I was always like, oh shit, these dudes can play. And but then all of a sudden, I think it was Zachy comes swinging with the guitar and splits open Matt's head right down the center. So now the makeup is just mixing with blood, and he doesn't miss a beat and just fully leans into it, at that point. Granted, remember, there's probably like 45 people there.
That was a big show. 45 people that year was a big show,
like
dude.
just Tuesday night at the IROC in Detroit. And he's just bleeding and going for it. And I'm like, these dudes fucking rule.
How metal is that?
Yeah, totally. I was just so into it, and was and then we started hanging out, and I'm like, oh, and they party. I'm like, this is going to be great. So yeah, and that was our first time. But then there was a few runs after that were just chaos, like so much fun.
Well, I want to get into those for sure, because I have some, because again, this is probably my second or third tour, was that Plea for Peace tour that we did together.
Yep.
I remember you guys had a home show in Massachusetts. I think we were in Worcester.
Yep. Good old Worcester.
With that, I don't remember the name of the venue. Maybe you will remember it. But like the dressing rooms were upstairs and the stage was downstairs.
That was the Palladium in Worcester. Yep.
That's what it was. So, do you remember us almost getting kicked off the tour after that night?
Yeah, I have a vague memory of that. Yeah, that tour, we were on thin ice for a good amount of that tour as well. That seemed to go.
It was interesting that they grabbed all these bands like us and put them on this bill, and then it was this Plea for Peace. Like they had like a PETA thing set up and everything, which I was fine with, but like. It was just a
very PC tour for us.
It was a very PC tour. Yeah, exactly. And Poison the Well was headlining. It was my first like club tour. Like I did Warped Tour with them and a couple other things, but that was like the first like, oh, we're doing one of these kind of tours. It's got a name. We're doing clubs across the states, and I'll get to that story. I don't know if Sam knows this story actually. So the dressing rooms being up there was no bathroom up where we were at. So after the show, like we played first, we were first to four, I believe, first or second. And we go afterward, we're having beers up in the dressing room. There's no bathroom. There's nothing. So I was like, dude, I got to take a piss. And Jimmy and Brian told me just to go take a piss in the bucket over here that was in the corner. Or he said, that's not even how it was. He was like, oh, just go pick that up for me real quick. And it was a bucket, and I started picking it up. He's like, you're picking up my piss. And I was like, oh, God damn it. And I throw it out the window. And down on the street level was the entire production for this Plea for Peace tour that we were talking about. That's very PC. And they almost get smacked with a bunch of piss. So Val was our tour manager for it, Val Sanders. And she had to put me in the van and was like, we're so sorry. And we had to wait for 24 hours to see if we were still going to be on the tour.
That's amazing, man.
But we were drinking with you boys.
Oh yeah. That was our hometown show. So we were probably raging. And we also not having to headline, was always a beautiful thing, so you can actually start partying before the show's over.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, but man, Worcester shows can get hectic, man. We call it Worm Town. It's for a reason, so it's always a rager. That's where our first reunion show was. It's kind of like our hometown venue. So I forgot about the piss bucket story, but it's funny because there was a Shadows Fall piss bucket story when with Poison the Well was involved as well. We played some. It was the Kerrang Weekender where they would literally take over a summer camp and have like 2,000 fans and all the bands staying in this summer camp. And we were in our room after we played, and some girl's like, "I got to take a piss," and we're like, "Someone's in the bathroom," so she just pissed into a bucket in the like a trash can in the thing. And then like of course Matt was drunk and just was like, "Can't believe you did that," and starts chasing her down through this summer camp with the bucket of piss, trying to like get it on her for pissing the thing. And it's funny because she started coming to shows a bunch, and of course she's known as Piss Bucket for like the rest of history.
I mean,
like,
that's you are nickname. You are
just Piss Bucket. Yeah, like there's no escaping that. So